G'day, my name is Joseph James, people call me JJ. I've been living for the last 6 months full-time in my 1984 remodeled Model 580 Lance camper with my dog, Checkers. So a lot of people have been asking, how's life been on the road? Are you scared? What are things like? Do you like it? Tell us your story. What's going on? I'm here to answer those questions. So I went to Instagram and asked people to ask me questions and what they think about this new lifestyle I live. Number one, what's the best thing about nomad life? The best thing about living a nomad life is you get to wake up wherever you want and you get to go to sleep wherever you want. I've seen the most amazing sunrises and sunsets. That's been the best part of nomad life. Do you miss California? Well, obviously I grew up in Australia and I moved to California in 2009. California has been my home for 11 years. Yes, I do miss California. I have family and friends there. I miss certain aspects of California, but I do not miss the traffic. What's the hardest thing about living a nomad lifestyle? To be honest, probably TMI, wondering where you're going to go to the bathroom and where you're going to have a shower. My camper is equipped with a toilet and also a shower. I haven't used it that much because it's easier when you're parked at campgrounds to use the facilities. When you live in a camper, you live with your waste essentially. So if I don't have to use it, then I won't. I'd rather use a campsite or a campground facilities. Or if I need to use it in the middle of the night, my camper is equipped with a toilet, which I can use both number 1 and 2 in. And also I can shower if I need to there as well. But that's the hardest thing. How's cooking rock and roll food plant-based on the road? It's awesome. My kitchen is well equipped. It has 4 propane burners. I also have an off-site barbecue and also a little mini burner propane gas thingy, which I can use to cook food. I've had no problem. Only thing is I have an oven in the camper, and right now it's summertime and it's way too hot to cook oven in my camper. So I miss cooking like roasts and roast vegetables and cooking things in the oven. But that's okay though. Most of the time I cook things on a propane burner, or I can cook outside in the great outdoors. So cooking has been absolutely awesome. It's been a challenge with less space, but I love it. How is Checkers doing? My dog Checkers has been the best road dog I could ever ask for on the road. He has been an absolute pleasure to have on the road with me. He's small, he's compact, he's a good guard dog. The only thing is I have to be very mindful is if we go on long road trips throughout the day, I have to be mindful if it's too much for him, because as much as we get stressed as humans, animals get stressed as well. So when we're driving, he does get a little bit antsy. I do stop quite often for him, take him for walks, stop at rest areas, give him water, etc. And also, you know, if I am going somewhere and I park the camper and I set up camp, when I leave him alone, he does get a little bit of separation anxiety, so I make sure I leave the TV on for him. The camper has air conditioning. It's absolutely wonderful for a dog during summer. In fact, it's wonderful for humans in summertime. But apart from that, Checkers has had an amazing time. He's probably the most traveled dog in the US. What is the scariest thing on the road? Well, for me, learning about this adventure and learning about how to live this lifestyle, and then getting a hole in my fuel tank in the middle of the Mojave Desert with 0 cell phone service and 50 miles to the closest gas station. That was probably the scariest thing for me. But I'm here though. The best thing about being on the road is the freedom. You get to experience things and see things that most other people probably never experience in their life. I love traveling, I love exploring, I love going off grid and meeting amazing, wonderful people who share familiar ideals about life on the road. That's been the coolest thing. What's my plan? I've never really had a plan for this, to be honest. Learn how to live on the road, to go from the west coast of the United States to the east coast, which I've done, and I've achieved that. So now, I guess, to go and see things that I've never seen before, go experience things I've never experienced before, and eventually I'd like to end up, my dream is to end up in Alaska. So I'd love to experience Alaska. The 1984 Lance camper, she's an old girl, she's almost 40 years old. There's probably a lot of modifications I need to make for that to happen before I go to Alaska, but that's kind of the plan, is to go experience the rest of the country that I've never experienced before. Also, to finish recording my EP on the road. I've got my onboard studio. My time has been spent really getting the camper up to scratch. So now that I'm kind of comfortable on the road now, I know where to go, Checkers is comfortable, now I can focus on making music. Lessons learned on the road. Wow. So many friggin' lessons. I've learned a lot about my Ford F150 truck. I never had a truck before. I've learned a lot about driving a truck. I've also learned a lot about this camper. It's a 1984. It's almost 40 years old. I think the greatest lesson learned is how much we waste in terms of water usage, trash, food. Obviously I have limited space in my camper, so I have to kind of be very conservative on the water that I use and the trash that I waste. Also about time wasted in my previous life. You know, I had one ideal about how I wanted to be rich and successful. Now things like waking up and seeing a sunrise in Florida at an unknown beach, or seeing the sunset in New Mexico, are probably things that most people would never experience, and I've been fortunate enough to experience it. Obviously, my previous life, you know, I worked since I was a teenager. I've always worked full-time jobs. I've always had a house or apartments to live in. So that's been the biggest adjustment for me, is living this new lifestyle, waking up, not knowing if I'm going to shower, not knowing where I'm going to go to the bathroom, but also at the same time experiencing things that I've never experienced before. So that's what life is. Life is just a ride. Go out and do it. So yeah, my plan, obviously, now that I've settled into this lifestyle, is to record my EP. I have songs that I've written, and kind of adjusting to my new studio setup and adjusting to this lifestyle. That is the plan, to release a new EP. I have a way you could support me is by checking out my Patreon page up here, and that is where I post, you know, some behind the scenes content and a way that I can connect with you on more of a closer level. And if you want to support me, that's the best place to go to. I want to thank everyone that has supported me so far. You can support me further by subscribing to my YouTube channel, by clicking like, thumbs up, and sharing with everyone that you know. And this is just the start of my journey. So yeah, this has been my first 6 months on the road, and more to come.